Okay, so the garage is getting cleaner. It looks chaotic right here, but trust me, there is a system. So we put everything nicely piled up in the middle of the room. We have all of our like tables and uh, stands and stuff in the middle, and then all of our wood and this cardboard is trash. Actually, just our trash can is full. But we have everything nicely piled up in the middle, and the reason is because on this wall here, this is going to be our storage area, but it's currently filled with all of our fish tanks. As you can see right here, these two 40-gallon breeders. We got a 29 right here, another 20 right here. There's some on the bottom that you can't quite see because there's stuff in the way. All of our fish supplies up top. And the reason why we're doing that is we're just getting it out of the way. A couple more fish tanks right there, because we're waiting for the electrician to come and install one outlet on this wall for our woodworking. I want to get another outlet next to this one because this one's already kind of full. And then over here, this is where the main fish operation is going to be. And there's only one outlet right there. There's technically this one too, but I'm going to use that one because I'm going to put my airline pump up in the corner over here and then run PVC pipe all the way throughout the room. So that outlet's going to be consumed, and I don't want to run 20 to 30 fish tanks off of one outlet. So I want to split that up by adding at least one more between these two outlets and then one more on the other side as well. So a total of 4 outlets is what I'm trying to get to. So we have to leave the walls, have to take everything off of the walls essentially, so I can't really have anything in the way, which is why everything is in the middle, so that way we can get to the walls and we can put in those outlets. An electrician is quite expensive in my new area, so I think we're gonna wait for a little while until I can recruit some friendly help to come and do it for far cheaper, pretty much just parts and some beer, and we can get that done. So for now, what I'm thinking of doing is, because we really want to get our fish operation set up, we want to at least start breeding something in the meantime. So we bought a bunch of 20-gallon tanks. We're going to get way more. We're going to get like 12 to 15 more tanks, a total of probably 18 or 20 tanks for our wall that we're going to be building, our uniform 20-gallon wall. But I think for now, what we might do is we might get something very low maintenance, such as Neocaridina shrimp, or something that we don't have to spend too much time with and we can easily move later. So we finally got our sink. We finally have all the necessities we need to have at least a small fish operation. Nothing big, nothing like we want to get to yet, but we might establish a couple tanks just on these 2 stands right here in front of this outlet. So that way, when we actually get to doing an outlet here, maybe even 2, and we get to another outlet here, again, maybe even 2, this is kind of out of the way. And since they're only 20 gallons, we can easily move them if that's the case, just drain them by half and then just carry them out elsewhere. And then once the outlets are in place, then we can build our fish rack. We can start putting the tanks where we want them. We can start taking the tanks off of here, start putting some of this stuff over there. It'll all work out really nicely. But for now, what I think we're gonna do is we're going to start prepping a few of these 20-gallon tanks that we bought, and we are going to start setting them up to have shrimp. And the thing I want to do in the meantime is, we don't really like the way you can see through the tanks, and we saw a couple other fish hobbyists, such as Keeping Fish Simple, Aquarium Co-op, what have you. They painted the backs of the tank black, and I've seen some that paint the bottom black, they paint the sides black. I'm not too worried about that. I'm mostly worried about the back, maybe the bottom. So we bought some black enamel paint, and yeah, we might paint the backs of the tanks. I think that'll look really nice once we get the wooden racks set up. All of the tanks are going to be uniform in size, having the backs painted black so you can't see all the disgusting wiring and whatnot behind them. The fish will feel more safe. I think it's just a win-win. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to paint a couple of these tanks, at least the back of them for now, black, and see how they look. All right, first tank painted. We will see how that turns out. Try to do even brush strokes. Probably would have been better if we had some kind of a paint roller, but it's all fine. I might clean up the little white patches right there. But yeah, that actually was entirely easier than I thought it was going to be. So we'll let this one dry and we'll check it out. Maybe we'll fill it up, maybe put some decorations in it, see how it looks before we, permanently paint the rest of the tanks as well as the ones that we're getting, which again, we're gonna be getting like 18 of these 20-gallon tanks. So a lot of shrimp, a lot of guppies, a lot of plecos, a lot of cories, you name it. So looking forward to what the fish room is gonna look like. But yeah, we'll let this one sit and dry, and then we will see what it looks like tomorrow. How's it going, everybody? You're seeing this only moments after the other clips, but I'm recording this about 3, maybe 4 weeks after the other clips were filmed. I got really sick, so I haven't really been able to upload and finish this video. However, getting sick for that long gave me a lot of insight, a lot of perspective on the way we're gonna go forward. So the original plan, having the garage heat this entire room, it's unfortunately not gonna work. The garage is heated, however, it's not fully insulated. And what I mean by that is these exterior walls, the cement floor, and the garage door, unfortunately, they don't retain heat very well. The garage itself feels very, very warm. The air is very, very warm in here. However, I did a test over the time I was sick, and thankfully the outside temperature did fluctuate between mid-30s down all the way to, I think it got to -35 at one point, so quite a big temperature change, and we saw a lot of differences with the water. So we had a tank on the floor, we had a tank up on little stand over here, basically like 3 feet off the floor. Then we had a tank on the other side of the room, and I was testing the tanks for the temperature of the water. Even though we had the room sitting at about like 75, 78 degrees, we had the garage heated to that, and it did feel like 75, 78 degrees. But testing the actual water itself, it always came up colder. It was coming up at 61, 62 degrees, and that unfortunately is not going to be enough for what we want to do. So on the days that it got really cold in the negatives, it was coming up in the mid-50s, even though the room again was 75, 78 degrees. So then we did another experiment. We jacked up the temperature of the garage thermostat, come out here, and you would be sweating. And the temperature of the water did not change very much. I got up to about 65 degrees for my water after sitting for a whole 24 to 36 hours or so. So I don't really like that fact that the change in temperature outside influences the temperature of my water inside the garage. Since we live in a cold climate, even if, I feel like in the summertime, it would be okay. But since this is going to be a year-round operation, and the wintertime being that drastically low, we're not going to be able to keep any warm fish like discus or certain plecostomus. So unfortunately, heating the garage is a no-go. However, not quite done here. I have another plan, and we are going to press forward. And initial investment, this plan is going to be a little bit more costly. However, I think it's going to be better for the fish. I think it's going to be better for this garage. It's going to be better on energy and electricity. But ultimately, if we want to have multiple different species of fish, we need to be able to heat all of those tanks to the adequate temperature that those fish are going to thrive at. Not necessarily for one temperature for the whole garage, but how each species is going to thrive. So we have a way forward, and we're going to proceed with it. So hopefully you stay along with me, and we'll see what we can do going forward, because this fish room is just getting